friends at TCRI want to use you as a weapon.
Let's make sure TCRI is not dropping any chemicals into sewers.
Oh my god, it's a rat meat!
I love that the mindset in this movie for the New Yorkers is fight big radioactive rat.
Y'all got your butts whooped.
Welcome back to another movie reaction. Today will be TMNT Mutant Mayhem, and I'm really excited and interested to see how this movie goes. I'm a massive TMNT fan. I grew up in the early 2000s, so that version is always going to be my version of the Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles! Just something about that animation and the whole dark, grim setting that had was just like the perfect time for me to be a child to watch that. And also the unique world building and lore that animation had. It's not a carbon copy of the 80s one. I love the 80s one too, but the 2000 one is a special place for me because I grew up with it. Also, a really underrated TMNT movie is the 2007 animated movie. That was really good, and I remember a PlayStation 2 game. I really love that as well. Batman vs TMNT was also a fun animated movie too, so there's a lot of good content regarding this property. And yeah, I'll pretty much end my rambling and get straight into it. So if you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. I'll put the movie here and we'll get right into it. Right, actually speaking of Nickelodeon, I never watched the Nickelodeon animation series. I always found that animation style a bit jarring, but I've heard that's pretty good too, so maybe I have to check that out sometime.
We're going after Dr. Baxter Stockman. He was TCRI's lead genetic scientist, but he went rogue. Stole billions.
Yeah, he turned into a madman. Again, going back to the early 2000s animated series, they've done Baxter Stockman pretty dirty. Like, he brutally turns into a mutant in that series.
Stay away from me, Dr. Stockman!
You've been a very naughty girl.
And created an actual mutant. He's holed up in a makeshift lab of an abandoned building. Each of you has been issued a high-powered anti-mutant neutralizer.
Okay, so who are these guys? Like the mutant task force?
Bring me Stockman's mutant, and whatever he used to make it.
Dark, ominous character in the shadows there. Standard bad guy. Surprised she's not petting a cat. This animation is very Spider-Verse too. When I first saw it, it really interested me because it's very different to all the previous TMNT stuff.
Are you excited for that? My friends at TCRI want to use you as a weapon.
Let's make sure TCRI is not dropping any chemicals into sewers.
I never had a family, little one. Nobody liked me. I always felt a greater connection to the animals I experimented on.
Okay. Is it freak scientist? Baxter's probably going to have to end up taking his own experiment to survive this and escape.
Where is the specimen?
It's gone. Okay. Is that a fly? Wait, so Baxter's experimented on someone else? Because I'm pretty sure he became a fly in the 80s show. So is this a new character?
Cease fire! We need them alive! Don't move.
Yeah, but he's probably going to drink that shit. I always thought of like Cronenberg's The Fly with these characters.
No! No, don't shoot! The chemicals are highly volatile! No!
Weren't you the one spewing orders, don't shoot? He's the one just blasting away.
We lost everything.
Bring me anything you can find. If will replicate his research.
So all the mutagens pretty much just gone all over this warehouse now. So are these guys going to get, like, infected and transform into monsters now? Okay, there we go. That's the start of 4 turtles and a rat, pretty much. Intro's pretty good already. Okay, so we got Leo here, always training. You know what, looking at it now, I don't know why people had grievances with the animation. It looks pretty good here. Because I heard a lot of people, like, had a huge distaste for it. It looks pretty good.
Master Splinter has given us a very important mission for tonight. The target is across the street. Go, Gert.
So this seems like a complete origin for them because they haven't gone out of the sewers that much. I also love that they've got, like, the initials on their belt going back to the 80s show.
Don't let any human see you. Because why? Humans are the demon scum of the earth.
Splinter taught them well, I guess. Well, they're gonna disguise in trench coats and stack on each other's shoulders, or how are they gonna get this food, or they're just gonna rob it? MOP, classic. Okay, so they're just stealing shit. Party-sized Doritos, can't forget them. You need the nacho sauce though as well.
Is a mysterious mastermind known on the streets as Superfly.
Okay, so it's not Stockman. This is another character who conveniently is a fly. Okay.
We're gonna get grounded.
He's a shut-in. He doesn't know how long it takes to do things. For all he knows, it takes us 3 hours to get to the bodega.
Well, he's not senile. He's still a good martial artist. Don't disrespect your father like that.
Oh snap! Oh wow, this isn't short.
And watching Ferris Bueller. Okay. Interesting they added like a live action imagery instead of making it animated. Their curiosity on humans is going to get them killed.
Let's get home, guys.
But yeah, it's got to be pretty boring to just stay in a sewer with no other interaction with people aside from your own family. So I get why they're curious to leave. What's this, Depressed Hour Turtles? Also, I don't know how young they've portrayed them in this movie. I assume because they're teenagers. Early, like 13, maybe 14. Because I've always got the impression that the 80s and the 2000s show, they were maybe in their mid-teens, 15, 16. This one looks like it's a bit younger than that.
Boys, where have you been? I've been freaking out.
We're sorry, Dad.
It was this one thing. It was this cat, and you know I'm scared of cats, so.
They all couldn't come up with one good lie. That's a rookie mistake. They all should have came up with one excuse. Poor choice.
Where were you?
Nothing.
Look, we're really sorry, Splinter. Some of the guys want to see a movie and I try to talk them out of it.
Come on, Leo.
You don't remember why humans are disgusting monsters? Why they're dangerous?
So I'm going to assume because of Splinter's hatred towards humans, he's not Master Yoshi transformed into a rat. Maybe he's the pet, or maybe they're not even going to put that character in there.
Just for that, I tell you the long version.
Okay, so we're going to get their origin story here. But for them, it's punishment.
Look at me. I was so cute. I was on top of the world. No, I was the bottom of the world. It was terrible.
Okay, so it looks like they've just made him your regular everyday rodent compared to some depictions where he's a martial artist's pet or the martial artist himself, which is Master Yoshi. I assume they're not doing that. They're going to scrap that. Yeah, don't get any of that shit on you, Splinter.
You was the first things I met. It didn't want to kill me or eat me.
Yeah, so you being near the radiation turned into the rat. Pretty standard. They didn't change much or anything at all with the origin here, which is good. At the least, they weren't Megan Fox's pets. Nice little werewolf transformation there.
It was weird, but we became a family.
And you all somehow knew English too.
To that is the daisy age, you're about to walk top stage, so wipe your laterals on.
So I assume it's Splinter that has good music taste. But how did they learn martial arts now?
You were obsessed with the human world, so I decided to give it a shot.
So what made him reject this later on into his life? Well, it's New York. It's pretty standard. People are going to freak out about this.
It didn't go well.
Oh my god, it's a rat man!
Rat man! Everybody look, it's Rat Man! You rat!
I love that the mindset in this movie for the New Yorkers is fight big radioactive rat.
To unlock ancient secrets of ninjutsu, how to turn a body into a weapon, I found it.
Okay, so he learnt it from just movie montages. What if the Scarface push it to the limit montage? And I can already tell this is probably going to piss a lot of people off because he didn't learn it from either mimicking Yoshi's moves or being Yoshi himself. I can see a lot of people being pissed off. It's just a different interpretation, like just settle down. Watch the 80s cartoon if that's your choice, or for me it's 2001. I mean, they're all got different versions of the story.
No leave the sewer for 1 month. Seriously? Yeah.
He was grounded. Who's your guys' favourite turtle as well? I've always been a mix between either Leo or Raph, but I think everyone's favourite is probably Mikey. I think majority of people like Mikey the most. He's the party one. Definitely I could see the Spider-Verse influence here with just the lighting and the animation style. Was this like a heat heist?
30 seconds! We gotta move!
What was that, an experiment? Some weird canister looking thing?
Guys, there's no way out of this. What are we gonna do? Superfly's gonna kill us!
So they're working for Superfly. Oh, he's turned massive now, has he? It looks like he's turned into like some Godzilla-esque monster.
God, is that... You really are.
Superfly.
I wonder if Bebop and Rocksteady are part of this too, because I think I saw like little tiny creature versions of themselves at the start in Baxter's lab.
They stole a radioactive storage unit this time.
Flying ice cream? Another robbery.
So do these people work for Shredder, maybe? Or maybe Shredder's not in this movie.
Still! Stay still! Oh, that is awesome!
Raph holding katanas is weird. Where's his size?
Check this out in slow-mo.
Dude!
Fruit Ninja here.
Fine, chill. He's gonna die.
Hey, why did we pick a fruit shaped exactly like my head?
Your head looks like Stewie had a baby with Hey Arnold.
So there's a lot of like late 90s, early 2000 references here. I'm surprised because a lot of kids probably don't know Hey Arnold and all these references. What a terrible idea.
Hey, you on the roof? You just hit me in the head with the ninja.
What, she can't see that they're 4 humanoid turtles? Or maybe she's just clouded in anger.
What's your pickup line?
No, don't sidebar. Huh? This is one of the most popular.
I think that guy's helping her.
Hopefully they don't do the weird, they're attracted to this person. Is this April?
He's getting away.
I assume that is April, but she's not in the 80s yellow jumpsuit, which I always found pretty stupid, but yeah, it doesn't look like she's a reporter in this. Well, I might be completely off mark here. That's probably just some random person, and maybe it's not April.
Alright guys, guard the exits. We're gonna need the most foolproof plan. Every single ninja technique, alright? I need you guys to use stealth to block the door.
The purple dragon's gonna be roaming the street.
What the heck are those things?
I think it's those guys who work in Times Square. You know, the mascots?
What's with the creepy costumes?
Look at the freaks! What's with the dweeby costume? This ain't Halloween.
I don't know if you noticed, but all I got is a big stick. How did I end up with a big stick?
Maybe we defuse this sitch with laughter.
You're not funny enough for that, dude. Enough talk! I dream about fighting every night.
So it looks like they're all extremely young in this movie, because they've never really fought anyone out the sewers. Which, to be fair, I think that's most of like the origin stories for the TMNT, but it feels like this version they look extremely young and they're acting way more immature than the other series, which it's not a problem. It's good to start when they're younger and have them build up in the course of the film and maybe potential sequels.
Hey, what are you doing? No, stop! You go left, I go left. What the heck, man? I said go left.
Why do you spit on him? They really put Vanilla Ice's song in this movie. Yeah, Secret of the Ooze was a bit of a oddball movie, let's just say that.
You want to die? What the? Ow! Guys, quit throwing stuff at me!
They're very, very immature. They're just hugely inexperienced. But I don't know what it is with these type of cartoons and animated movies where it seems like the maturity level has gone down. You know, because it seemed like, especially in the early 2000s, everything was pretty dark and morbid. Especially these guys. And it feels like they've made them more immature, which, again, not a problem, but it is a jarring difference if you are someone that grew up in the 80s and late 90s and saw these different versions. But I think that's what a lot of people get confused with, these different interpretations of these characters. They are a different version. So walking in expecting the nostalgia of the ones you grew up with is not the best expectation when walking into like new adaptions. Yeah, let's not alert authorities.
Whoa. Y'all got your butts whooped. This is really not how I thought this night was gonna go.
So I assume this is April, the only resemblance is the red dreads.
You got my scooter back, so I feel like that's square. But the longer you lurk in the shadows, like, the more sus it gets every second.
She said we're sus!
April must be Velma blind because she can't seem to make objects out even in the dark.
Bring it out. Sus. Wow, the costumes are really off. That's your skin! That's your skin!
It's my skin.
What are you? What could you be?
Can we explain this over some pizza?
Seems like she's taking it better than the 2000s cartoon. So is she a journalist or not in this movie?
Contact with Mystery Ooze and started to age from mutant baby turtles to mutant turtle men guys.
Why are you writing all this down?
Oh, well, I'm a journalist. Well, I want to be a journalist. I write for my school paper.
Really?
Okay, so yeah, everyone's kind of in the early stages of life in this.
I'm trying to, help bring in justice.
So yeah, she obviously hasn't met Casey Jones yet. She obviously hasn't bumped into Shredder and the Foot Clan, and she's not investigating all that yet. So yeah, everyone's in the early stages here.
Do you think there are more people like you? People who will accept us?
No.
No, absolutely not. Genuinely, no. There's no way. I knew it!
That's it, guys. Pack up. Back to the sewers.
Let me know. I would love to write a story about it. Seriously. Good night.
I mean, she seemed cool.
Here he goes again.
Hey, girl.
So they've made Leo into April. That's weird. And by the way, I've always hated that in the TMNT. That's the only negative thing I've had with all of them, where why are turtles attracted to humans? I found that weird.
Drag him up to City Hall, dump him on the steps with the cops, and say, we're the heroes who stopped Superfly. Everyone will all be like, hey, those Turtles are alright, I'm a Gabby from the Bronx.
No, they'll capture you and experiment on you.
Hey, okay, I'm following this. It's like Hulk in Avengers Endgame. Sure, he's a giant, terrifying green monster.
They're referencing MCU.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo mostly improvised that scene?
Ed Norton Hulk over Mark Ruffalo Hulk. Any day.
What about that, though?
I mean, he doesn't really need to know about it, right?
Also, something else I'm finding a bit odd with this movie so far is there's no distinct personality between the four. They've all kind of got the same personality, which is similar to just Mikey's character, witty and funny. Like, Donnie's was always supposed to be the more intelligent one. Leo's the leader, obviously. Raph is just a very angry guy. It seems like they've all just got Mikey's personality so far.
You document it all, and when we got him, you release the story, your prom is uncanceled, and we get accepted by the world as heroes.
Wow, yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Just come clean and say that's not gonna work.
It's a date.
Wait, what?
Hang up, man. Hey, you know what? Oh, shit. It's like bad service or something. I'll see you tonight.
Wait, I've just realised, have neither of them used a skateboard at all?
Welcome to Eastman High.
Oh, right, so she's still a college student. That's how she... Wait, how she got access to the school keys?
Hey, well, at least I'm not puke girl.
Oh my god, are you puke girl?
So she was a bullied child in school. That's not stereotypical or...
Remix. Memed. The sound even trended on TikTok.
I was just about to say this. This is like if TikTokers made a TMNT movie, because it seems like that's their target audience, people with short attention spans, so just throw as much quick-witted comedy as possible, which I can't complain because that's today's day of entertainment, so I'm just a bystander in this.
He's knocking off insanely highly technical shipments, state-of-the-art, incredibly expensive, and he pays off thugs to do his dirty work so he can stay completely under the radar.
Okay, so why is he doing that?
They stole a radioactive storage.
Is he gonna try and like... Is he doing some weird Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 type thing? He's gonna try and blow up New York or something? Or is he gonna do like the cliche thing, if I'm a monster, everyone else is gonna be a monster with me, and turn everyone into mutants?
Yo, Drake, drop the verse.
Okay, so they're gonna just go and interrogate these thugs. So no foot ninjas yet, or purple dragons. These are just regular street thugs. Very interesting song to put Blackstreet on fighting montage, but okay. It's also interesting that Stockman's not in this. I assume he's not the main villain, it's the Superfly guy.
The deal with Superfly is tonight, under the bridge. We give him his unit, and he leaves us alone. You did good.
So it's some radioactive machine. I think he's trying to turn New York City into mutant people.
Our dad, he doesn't really like humans and...
Rude. I mean, to be fair, I don't love rats.
And that's
Understandable. Yeah, but just wait here, okay? We'll be back in a few.
Okay, have fun in here.
Awesome. Good. Love that I'm looking at that.
It's like what I said before though, I'm starting to notice it more now, is the lack of their personalities, or their individual personalities, is like a missing puzzle to the piece of this film to make it perfect. Like, you can't tell any of them apart now because they're all the same character, just very cringy teenagers, and they weren't really like that in any adaptation, to be honest.
Surprise!
What's Splinter doing? He's gonna do some... he's gonna ground him some shit, isn't he?
You wanna be in the human world. I went through your stuff, and I found your human clothes.
He's terrible at hiding stuff.
I brought the human world to you. Look! Human friends. Hello, I'm a human. Say hi to Chris. I'm Chris Pine. Look at my eyebrows.
What's it? The Hot Rod customized cars. It's pretty much just a carbon copy of Spider-Verse. Even the soundtrack a bit as well, with like the heavy bass. Very similar to Spider-Verse. Oh, so Bebop and Rocksteady are in this. Yeah, it is. Okay. So Superfly is the one doing the experiments instead of Baxter Stockman, which that's a bit of a change. Or maybe Baxter Stockman is, it's just that Superfly's just gone rogue.
No, we don't work for Bernie. We're here to find you.
I can't believe there are other mutants like us.
This is wow.
So is he a vigilante or a villain? I mean, people saying he was going around killing hired thugs and that, so I assume he is a murderer.
I didn't introduce my peeps. This is Bebop, and that's Rocksteady.
Hey, what you looking at, bro?
I like how they still look like they're just straight out of the 80s with the 3D glasses and just the whole punk look.
We know you're building some sort of super weapon.
Weapon? I'm building the opposite of a weapon. Weapons kill. What I'm making will create.
He's trying to create mutants, isn't he?
Let's go somewhere fun.
This is also something else I've not been a big fan of with recent animated movies, is the constant use of popular music, and it's out of context as well. So, for example, if the Turtles were listening to this on like headphones or a radio, I think that's fine because that's embedded in their character. They like pop culture stuff. But this song and most of the songs in this movie, they're not like listening to it. It's just for the audience, and I'm not a fan of just dishing out as many as pop culture songs as possible just to try and please us. I don't really like that. And also it feels very corporate, like a group of old people sat on a table and thought what the kids like, hip hop and rap, overflood this whole movie with that. And it just comes off very like unnatural, almost like cringe level, because it's like, you know for a fact that these people sitting in a committee are extremely out of touch, and this is their closest attempt to try to be relevant. It's, I don't know, I've always found it off, and I see it more and more with newer movies.
Especially this one dude, man. He wouldn't stop chasing us. He wanted to kill us.
That's what happened to us.
Was that Casey Jones?
You know what I did? I beat that fool down. I touched that chin. Mollywopped him to an inch of his life.
So wait, Casey's dead? Did he beat the shit out of him?
Then we're gonna launch it into the atmosphere and watch it vaporize. Every animal on Earth will be transformed into a mutant.
There we go, it's the beat by beat stereotypical thing. Villain is monstrositous. Everyone has to be monstrositous now.
Because now that I got this, I can complete my device.
Hopefully April is recording this.
You want to roll with us? Because we can activate the machine tonight.
He could probably see her, right? Flies have very good vision and enhance it to a humanoid size.
Last piece of his horrible puzzle. You're gonna stop him? You're gonna stop him? Yeah. Somebody just cough.
Why don't you call authorities, April? Say that Superfly is here, they know who he is. Get the cops to ambush these idiots.
And that right there pissed me off.
And he's actually doing a decent job voice acting. I don't think he's previously done any voice acting for animation or anything to this sort, so he's doing a fairly good job.
I don't want y'all to get lost, so Mondo, Wingnut, Rock, ride with the tortoises.
I think he's catching on to your plan.
Did you think of something? Hey, dudes, fun cruising with you, but where are we going exactly?
Leo's brushing off a plan to someone else. Very uncharacteristic of him.
It's impossible. We need like a long and narrow device that's small enough to get under the seat, but strong enough to press the pedal.
You mean a stick?
They're gonna push the brakes and have them fly at the windshield. Now you've got to drive off because Superfly is not going to be really happy about this. And speaking of inventions, has Donnie even made anything in this movie? Like the shell cells or even like the boosters? And he hasn't done anything in this movie. I mean, to be fair, none of them have. Pretty disappointed in that. I really like the animation though. That's 100% the biggest positive.
6 in the morning, police at my door. Come on!
What? You're Ice Cube, not Ice T. What?
See you in hell, Turtles.
Quick, grab it! I'm getting ripped in two!
Gucci, Gucci, Gucci.
It's like Slinky from Toy Story.
Oh no!
So I wonder what happened. The radiation does go to New York. Is he going to turn into a human? Would it cure the turtles? How would that work?
Say goodnight, freak.
So who are these people? Are these just the mutant agency? Ah, this is the company that the mutagen came from, right?
There's a fly monster!
I will do the talking.
Yeah, she's angry. She wants her mutagen back.
I am Cynthia Outram. And you are my property.
Yeah. So is this one, is she an alien like Krang, the Utron? Is she got like a alien in her chest or something? Or is it just fan service to have the last name? Actually, where's Krang as well? He hasn't made an appearance at all in this movie.
Use you to create a stable mutagen. And with that, I will create an army of super soldiers.
So she wants to do exactly what Superfly is doing, aside from she wants to use it for military purpose, while he wants to do it as a revenge arc.
What I want is your blood. And there's only one way to get it.
Splinter was right, milk.
Boys, you come home? You forgive me? My surprise party worked?
Get back! I bite you.
Yeah, let's not do that, Splinter.
With your sons, and right now they're in trouble.
They're about to be milked. Paranoia was right, Splinter.
Continue milking them until we have the required amount.
What? You're gonna milk them or just liquefy their whole body? What?
Someone's here.
Splinter? Great entrance there.
Ratatouille, grab another machine and hook him up like the others.
Don't call me Ratatouille.
Right, is he gonna actually use martial arts? You know what? Jackie Chan's Splinter has probably been the best thing with this movie, and Ice Cube as Superfly. I think them two have been the best. And he's handling himself better than the Turtles for his age. And thank God they're not using some shitty pop music too, it's just general score. Spoke too soon. This last Ronin with Splinter. He just got all the brothers' weapons. Alright. That was the best scene in the film so far.
You help some evil flyman create a machine that's gonna destroy the world and kill the only good human, April. So we're gonna clean up your mess.
Okay.
Y'all just won't quit, huh? What is it about these stinking humans that you love so much?
I don't think that's just the reason. You're also a psychopathic murdering fly.
Hell y'all doing? Man, stop this kumbaya, I love each other stuff. Kill them fool!
No.
Do it yourself. If you want to kill people, you do it.
Get in line. Seriously, so?
Turn off the machine.
Yeah, what's he gonna do against Bebop and Rocksteady?
Get it right.
He must have had some fly enhancements. There's no way he's stronger than these animals.
You prep.
Life.
pull the cords.
Only one way for you to feel safe and happy, and that's if you listen to me.
Come on, Splinter, do something. Well, I guess they had to brutally murder Superfly. He's not so super after all. If the electrocution wasn't enough, they had to squash him with the rubble.
Did we stop it?
Wait a minute, no, he's gonna go like full Godzilla mode now, isn't he? Right, it's gonna fuse into this big fly monster now, isn't he? It's kind of like radioactively fused with other creatures.
I'm super duper fly. You know what I mean, Missy Elliott? Is that a whale tail? Oh, I got a claw. I got a whale body.
Okay, get on with it.
Boys, I messed up. I don't want to be like Superfly. I love you, boys.
He's got to change of heart. Okay, so we'll be more accepting the humans, even though they don't really like him that much. Can't turtles swim?
What the hell?
We did it. It's working. We actually did it.
I think I got it.
What?
That's it? One little horse. I don't need that horse.
They're gonna need a lot of bullets for that. This is oddly reminding me of the Super Mario movie. Yeah, so nothing's really changed. I still fear them.
Mikey, what do you do better than anyone? Improvise. Must be able to think of a way to stop something like that.
Okay, so finally they're gonna get their personalities and
This thing into that thing's blowhole, and it'll go into its bloodstream.
become the actual turtles that everyone knows.
And Raph, it's time to go loud. Loud? Real loud. As loud as you've ever gone. Use that rage of yours. Use it to help us. Okay.
Yes, use the rage we've never seen in this movie.
April O'Neil here. And
How does she break into this area?
the turtle teens, along with a rat, warthog, stingray, crocodile, bat, frog, lizard, and cockroach lady, are in fact fighting against the monster.
Yeah, this is eerily similar to the Mario movie where everyone knows that big dinosaur and mystical creatures and big gorillas attacking New York. It's playing very similar to that movie. I don't know if that was just unintentional.
The giant monster is bad, but the mutants you see here are in fact good.
Do people generally find that comedy funny? I don't know. Do kids like belly laugh at shit like that? Can you imagine a Mirage Comics TMNT adaptation? That will be actually amazing if someone would do that. But obviously, that won't be targeted for kids because they legitimately murder people in those comic runs. That's the first time we've heard them say Cowabunga as well. Like, this movie's just weird where it's missed all its references. It's too busy doing pop culture soundtracks instead of iconic TMNT moments. What the hell's that?
Do you need help?
He's with the turtles.
Those turtles are not the bad guys. They're actually teenagers and fighting against the giant monster.
She's convinced the whole suburb that they're good people.
Hey, the humans! You're helping us!
Really? Yes.
Yeah!
Oh, no, they ain't.
So this is going to be interesting if they make sequels. The humans are just going to help the turtles. I mean, that kind of ruins the whole purpose of them because they hide from humans. I feel getting rid of the whole characteristic of them trying to do stuff like ninjas is now ruined. Yeah, ram cars into this guy. That's surely going to work. You mess with Spider-Man, you mess with all New York. This reminds me of that. Now they take their weapons out when they haven't used them. So now there's just rampant animals in New York. How's that whale gonna survive?
What is this?
It's happening.
It's actually happening.
Hey, them turtles are alright.
Find my baby.
See what I mean? Like, doing something like this, doesn't it, like, defeat the point of ninjas roaming around because people know who they are? So now it's like just Teenage Mutant Turtles at this point, because the whole point of them learning ninjutsu and being ninjas is be stealthy. But if all of New York know these people as heroes, you've defeated that purpose now. So they're going to enroll in school. I don't know, this is very odd. So that was TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people though who are hardcore TMNT fans of the past, so I'm thinking more like the 80s show and even like my time, the early 2000s, will probably be a bit upset or find this jarring because how different it is, but it is a different interpretation, so I am going to base it on a different interpretation, and I think it's still very good. It just is, it's a very drastic shift from the story, and that's the way I'm going to view it. It's a brand new, fresh take on these characters, so I'm not going to judge it on the other ones because it's not based on them. Especially if you want to go like comic accuracy and all that. Neither of the shows or the games, the movies and so forth, they've never been 100%. They've been picking and choosing some stuff to adapt that is accurate, and then most of it's just been their own spin, and I see that with this film too. It's just a different version of the Turtles, and overall I did enjoy it. However, just storytelling, I do think there is a bit of problems and negatives. I think my biggest overall complaint would be the humor, and yes, I know this is more targeted to children, but I think subtle humor is just as serviceable. I don't think you need to throw humor in every single thing. I mean, we've gone to the point where Marvel and DC has legitimately killed its own franchise due to just that, and I don't think it's the smartest choice for other companies to hop on that when that formula is already dying out. Like, I feel this movie kind of self-explained itself unironically because they did mention TikTok in this movie, and it's very overstimulated. It feels like this movie where you have to stimulate children as much as possible, quickly tell jokes. They're going to be uninterested in the serious moments, and we just need to stimulate them and make them laugh. And I feel by doing that, you've sacrificed the actual storytelling. And I think also another slight negative would be the actual characters of the four brothers. I feel if you're a new fan and this is your first time experiencing the Turtles, I feel you can't really tell a difference between these four compared to previous versions. Yes, they all had goofy moments and they all were very, you know, they're teenagers, they're very jokey and all that, but they all had individual personalities, which I felt was hugely missing in this. And then when we get something like at the end where they finally boost into confidence, you get Leo who's prep talking them and saying, "Oh, Donnie, you're the smart one, right? And Raph, you're the angry one." But it never showcased that in the movie. So if you're just stepping into these new characters, you're sitting there like, what? When did these people showcase this? But I think the best excuse to fix that and rectify that in sequels is to say that this is them extremely young as teenagers and they grow into that. Which, if that's what they want to do and that's what they're planning to do, then I'm all for that. If it's going to give us an arc, then obviously that's going to be paid off in sequels, and again, I'll be fine with that. But I think they're the only real nitpicks I can point out in this movie. I think everything else I really, really enjoyed. I really like Jackie Chan as Splinter. I think he was one of the standouts, as well as Ice Cube as Superfly, which is kind of weird. I think they could have just made Ice Cube play Baxter Stockman instead of just creating a brand new character who's basically just an off-branch of Baxter Stockman. For people that don't know, Stockman mutates himself into a fly, so I'm kind of confused why they separated the characters that much. And Baxter's a huge person in the TMNT lore, so yes, they're changing it to new adaptation, but they had him in this movie, and I felt they should have probably had him a bit more in this movie. And also, it looks like they're going more in the realm of the 80s cartoon, where it's not as heavily sci-fi. For example, it doesn't look like Krang is going to be in this, or he wasn't mentioned in this movie, but the race of his species wasn't mentioned. It was the CEO henchman businesswoman's last name, so I don't know if that was an Easter egg. I don't know if she's going to be Krang, maybe. That would be interesting as well if they touch on that in the sequels. Also, I'm pretty surprised that Shredder wasn't mentioned, or even like the Foot Clan or the Purple Dragons, and I actually salute them for being pretty ballsy to reboot TMNT and not have the main gang and the main villains in this. So I do appreciate that they've gone out the box and done something unique where they haven't adapted the big mainline villains just yet, and obviously I would assume later in sequels they will sneak the Shredder and all the other gangs into this. You need to. It's Shredder. He's one of the most iconic villains in animation, so they would have to put him in. It's just a matter of time when. But yeah, I think overall, I love the animation style. I love how influential the Spider-Verse has become now, where it looks like everyone wants to mimic that style. I still love it. Hopefully it doesn't get too oversaturated. You know, I don't want every animated movie to now just mimic Spider-Verse and its animation style, because then you just over fluctuate it and you kill the uniqueness of it. But yeah, I think this is a really good breath of fresh air, especially in comparison to the Bayverse ones. I think this is a good reboot and a good fresh start for these characters. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.